Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Icewind Dale Rhyme or Reason, session 12. Sorry to keep you all waiting a little bit, but we are excited to be here playing. I also realized I got the time wrong, so those of you who showed up, paid attention to notices of when this would be. You are the few, the proud, the here. And and if you're missing this, or if you're catching this after the fact, you're cool too. But hey, how you doing, guys?
Doing well.
Awesome, man. Thank you for asking. How are you?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I'm really excited. Been looking forward to this night for quite some time. And, you know, spring is in the air a little bit here in Michigan, so I'm feeling a little bit more like, hey, I could go somewhere cold and sub-zero. That does sound like a fun fantasy.
So, Texas.
Yeah, there you go, right? Whew. All right.
Crazy.
Very good. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Before we get going too far, I want to thank my sponsor, our sponsor, Hero Forge, for their support of the stream here. Hero Forge is awesome. There's a link down in the video description to heroforge.com. Ooh, what you got there, Michael? What is it?
This is an Arctic Fox monk.
Yes.
Because we wanted to make a kitsune monk.
It's very
inspired.
fuzzy and soft.
Very fuzzy. Hold on. I can fix that.
Is that Chinese or Japanese?
Japanese.
Yeah.
Don't reflect my stuff.
Oh, that is cool. Yep.
Yeah.
Love
I
that.
wish I had a better. You know, one
it's
day
hard
I'm
on the
gonna invest in
webcams.
like a mini camera.
Yeah, so I've got a couple of Hero Forge minis here. This is my well, this one's a little frog creature they sent me from the Color Tools, and this one right here is my Drow Rogue Zed from our Avernus campaign. So
Nice.
anyway, Hero Forge is an awesome company. Ooh, that's
It is.
awesome.
That is a froggy.
You can design
I
your
like
own
the
miniatures, take your character, the character of your dreams, and see them brought to life before your eyes as you mess around with tons and tons of options for races and clothing and armor and weapons and items and all kinds of customization that you can do right on your own for free over at heroforge.com. And if you so choose, you can also order a miniature shipped to your house in color or unpainted. You can download the STL file and 3D print that thing on your own. And you can even, subscribers even get access to a token maker in their photo booth and things like we have on screen here to make these awesome tokens for our characters. And by the way, there are links to our characters down below. So if you want to go open those up in Hero Forge and see how they look, see what Fizwick's tushy really looks like from every angle. Yeah,
Ew.
it's pretty hot.
So smell like him too?
They don't. They're working with smell-o-vision. I hear that's
Yeah.
coming.
They're working to 3D print color and scent into the,
Yep.
into the minis.
Scratch and sniff.
Yeah. So anyway,
They
thanks
also
to Hero
they
Forge.
also update those options quite frequently. It seems like,
Oh,
'cause I
yeah.
feel like there's always something new I'm being shown.
Oh yeah, like every
every-
week.
I believe every Tuesday. They have something that they usually release. I think last week was like some new hairstyles, which include like a massive, very awesome looking Caribbean dread looking thing. So
Ooh, nice.
And Fizwick's butt is scratch and sniff, exclusive to Hero Forge.
I would like the Fizwick's butt scent, please. Well, good.
It's broken.
So thanks to Hero Forge, and thank you guys for being awesome players and being here tonight. We're going to be jumping into session 12 here, and as we do so, I will read a little bit. Sorry, let me get my place here properly. And we'll get some introductions from these guys a little bit more around our break time. But here we go. The cold wind bites as our unlikely heroes make their way south and east around Lac Dinishir to East Haven. And actually, let me put up a little map here. There we go. So, starting at Caer Dineval last time and making their way to East Haven, our 4 adventurers, 2 Axebeaks, and now 2 Owlbear cubs walk briskly along the Eastway, the road connecting several of the 10 towns of Icewind Dale. After about 7 hours of very cold travel, Small, dark shapes and the flicker of lights appear on the horizon. Cluttered wooden buildings hugging the shores of Lac Dineshire, its glossy ice reflecting the beauty of the aurora overhead. As our party nears the town, they are greeted by signs of a rougher crowd here in East Haven. A sign posted along the road with the words, "Watch your pouch," carved into the wood. East Haven is the prototypical frontier town, founded by thieves and scoundrels, once very prosperous, now slightly less so, due to the lack of trade brought on by Ariel's curse of darkness and cold. As you guys near the town here, what would we find your characters doing?
What time of day is it?
It is getting on toward dinner time here, the supper, the evening hour.
Fizwick's
I'm gonna go. Well, depends on what the rest of the group is gonna do, but I would like to go see about a bite to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Really, a
Warm meal.
mug of ale, but
I'm already chewing on some rations even before we eat dinner, and I'm trying to keep them away from the owlbear cubs.
in your stomach.
I imagine that
They can
my
get to
version
it
of
there.
rations have been somewhat diminished over the last few days. So I too am going to be looking for sustenance, but in a very different fashion.
You don't want a burger?
Maybe. I could pick your brain and see if there's any good places to eat.
Ooh.
Fizwick's packing up his gold into his shirt, and he says, "Okay, you guys gonna want to pack your goodies because pickpocketing here is legal. So I warned you."
Yeah, and any time you have spent in East Haven, you would know that to be true. Probably pretty common knowledge around here. A throwback to the thieving roots of East Haven. I'm going to pull up a map here of East Haven.
I take Fizwick's advice.
Very good. Let's see here. This is that was for my other group. I'm running this game for my son and some friends too, so they were in East Haven just yesterday. All right, so the East Way is down here, and you guys can see the lay of the land here. Several locations marked on the map. Fizwick would also know the location of the Darksea Workshop, a place, a shop and sort of base of operations for an organization that he is familiar with. The lake, you would know, is all that you can see here of Lac Dineshire is completely frozen over. The East Haven Ferry is no longer in operation, just as the harbors of Caer Konig and Caer Dineval were frozen, further isolating these towns. The same is true of East Haven. However, fortunately, East Haven is a little further south, closer to trade routes, and it is a much bigger town, so slightly better chance of having a decent life here. Any idea what you guys would like to do here? You had the owlbear cubs and some interest in probably seeing, could we train and or possibly sell? And there was also the bit about the Duergar in their base of operations up north. You did find a note that seemed to imply that Nildar Sunblight's brother, another son of the chieftain, was in East Haven. And I believe it said something to the effect of, well, I wish I had that up.
I remember that a note specified that they might be at he might be at the East Haven Ferry.
Okay, good. I didn't want to give that away if I hadn't told you guys yet.
Yeah,
but
I think we've been told that.
Good. That is correct. Yep.
Okay.
Fizwick, is there a place to eat by the ferry?
Oh, there's some fish. Oh man, I can't remember what it was called. Fish's End or something.
Well, there's the Wet Trout, which is
see, I was
up in the
close.
north. Yep. Yeah. And there's also the White Lady Inn, which is very close to the ferry dock.
Or we can get some good eats at the. I almost said wet. What did you say was the? I almost confused two of them.
It is not the Wet Lady Inn. It is not,
Okay.
and it is not the White Trout. It is the other way around.
Fizwick's laughing. You can just see him. He's kind of just giggling, and he's just kind of points in a direction and says, "Wet Trout. Wet Trout. We can eat the Wet Trout. We got some good eats."
All right. Good. So, would you guys like to head for the Wet Trout?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Aye,
Delicious
sure.
smoked fish.
All right. As you are walking, you notice a smoldering pile of ashes somewhere toward the middle of town, and you see a couple of people kind of shoveling, a little bit of smoke still in the air, an unpleasant smell. And why doesn't everyone go ahead and make a perception check for me, if you could?
Five.
6.
11.
Natural 1.
Fizwick, what did you get? Sorry, I didn't hear.
5.
Okay. We're just gonna go ahead and say that at one point someone brushes by you and but you don't notice anything, and fortunately you have tucked your belongings away. So that is all. That is all we will say. The crowd gathered near one of the buildings here. There's a couple of people smoking pipes and talking in hushed voices, as you see a couple of workers just kind of coughing as they scoop up these ashes. Would you like to continue on, or would you like to investigate further?
Can we see what, like, are they just complete ash, or are there like chunks of stuff in them?
If you move closer, you do see some bones among the kind of chunks of probably some charred wood still there.
How far away are they?
Well, I would say Clay probably moved pretty close in order to see him. So, they're in the...
Fizwick is kind of next to Clay.
Okay.
He tried to lean on his leg, but
I'll look down at Fizwick and just say it is none of our business, and turn and walk toward the other two to continue on.
Fizwick follows Clay, but he wants to see if he can sneak a quick pickpocket in on this sad person looking at this.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
He's 18.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you reach into the pocket, but this person who is shoveling this muck is quite poor. You manage to extract 2 copper.
He just puts it back in.
Okay.
Just see if you still got it.
He switches pockets. I'm gonna take it from this pocket and put it in that pocket. All right, very good. As you guys continue along the road to the Wet Trout, there's a fair amount of people milling about here. Some people finishing up their shopping for the day. Nothing incredibly eventful going on, but just some people kind of milling about. And as you make your way to the Wet Trout Inn, this is, and Fizwick would certainly know, and possibly some others too. The Wet Trout is located near the docks, and it is a pretty rowdy tavern known for its very kind of loud atmosphere, a lot of rumor mongering and things like that. A great chimney is squarely in the building center, and there's a large hearth that is kind of 2-sided fireplace here that warms 2 common rooms, actually. As you walk in, there's a decent crowd gathered, eating their meals. It seems to be mostly full, And a white dragonborn stands at the bar, kind of polishing glasses. A couple other barmaids, a halfling, and an elf seem to be waiting on tables in the common room that on the side that you enter from. Would you guys like to find a table or go up to the bar?
I'll first go to the bar and get a mug of ale, and maybe like some bread and whatever they have cheap.
Yep, sounds good. You managed to do so, and for that, we're probably looking at 1 silver piece. So, yep.
Fizwick wanted to follow Clay as well and see if there's any passerbys that he could sneak another hand in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely some people, seated near the bar on these bar stools, and go ahead and see what you can do there. Roll your sleight of hand.
25.
Oh, dang.
Play
I'm
well.
going to say that you managed to you managed to find maybe a silver bracelet, just a little silver chain in someone's pocket.
Okay.
Clay watches him do that, but knowing that there's just no stopping him short of ripping his arms off, he just he growls in disapproval and rolls his eyes.
Yep.
Think you hear Fizwick fart.
Gruckvar leans over to the party and says, I'm going to go over to where the chatter's so loud to see what I can overhear. See what the news of the town is.
Okay.
I'm gonna find a corner sort of that's isolated, but that is still within earshot of other people, and see what I can hear as well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at one table you hear a particularly loud fellow. He's a tiefling, and he is, seeming pretty happy-go-lucky guy. Just kind of enjoys being. You can tell he's kind of a life of the party sort of guy, and he is actually talking about Durgar. The rumors seem to have spread all the way to East Haven here, that there are invisible dwarves afoot, and you can just hear him, kind of bragging about crushing Durgar and things like that.
Does he let anything slip about actual useful information?
Nothing really. He also talks about. He actually is talking about as well. You hear their conversation shift a little bit, and he's talking about a burning that took place in the town, an execution. They caught that evil wizard, and burned him at the stake. They did. It was a sight to behold, let me tell you. My neighbor, I told her that, keep the children away, but her husband wanted the children to see. Justice served out. That evil wizard, he took out some adventurers, hired them, and then they never came back. He came back.
Fizwick, are you still by me?
No, Fizwick wanted to see if he could sneak under the most busiest table in the room without anybody noticing. Can he do that?
Yeah. Sure.
He's always challenging himself.
I would say go ahead and make a stealth check.
I salute your effort to better yourself over time.
16.
Okay. Yeah, you're under a table. No one has kicked you yet.
Okay.
This tiefling is talking about crushing Durgar. Has he taken notice of me and my heritage?
I don't know. How close are you? Are you trying to make eye contact with him?
No, I'm about a table. I'm about a table away.
Okay. No, I would say that, probably if you're wearing anything over your head, a hat or hood, that you're not being noticed.
Okay.
I'm gonna sort of half pretend drunkenly stagger over to that table and just sort of loudly enough that the braggart can hear me just say like something like, so the wizard had it coming, huh?
Sure did, sure did. Man, it feels good to see justice meted out like that. Let me tell you, no one messes with the adventurers of East Haven. We're,
Nothing's more important than justice. Tell me more, my friend.
well, he kind of gives you a quick look, and then he softens his look as he sees that you look a little rough and tumble yourself.
I play up the drunkenness a little bit more just to mask my stupid questions.
Yeah, he leans in and he says, they say he was a red wizard of Thay. Don't know if that's true, but evil he was. Must have killed those adventurers, taken them out, hired them, and just killed them. Or left them out in the cold, who knows?
I have heard of these red wizards. Nothing but trouble.
Indeed.
What, you say he hired some people?
Yeah, hired some adventurers, said he had a job for them or something.
How long ago was that?
Oh, must have been about a week ago. And then another guy chimes in and says, yeah, 8 days, maybe almost a 10-day now. And another guy chimes in and says, I heard they caught him in disguise, but he was changed his appearance somehow, but showed up to his old flat, if you will, and that's where they caught him.
Where is this flat? If truly justice has been met, I would love to see the place where this evil existed and now is no more.
No, I think it's somewhere over by the stables. Yeah.
I where your mouse is?
I forgot you could see my mouse even when I'm in I'm in my browser window here.
Over in that area.
And down here would be the stables. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he thought he could pull a fast one on us, but town guard had his place staked out.
I'd like to say I feel sorry for those adventurers, but they should have known better. Thank you, friend.
Absolutely.
And I stand up and I immediately look for Nikos.
Yeah, where is Nikos?
Well, I was wondering if I could, just sneak away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
yeah.
Homer Simpson in the bushes.
Yeah.
If you want to tell me what you're doing, you can. If you would rather PM me, you can do that too.
No, I'm happy to say. So Nikos is still not quite accustomed to. I mean, it's been a few weeks since he was grafted into with the Illithid experiment, transforming him into the Gratal, and the sustenance he requires, being brains, still doesn't quite sit as well as he would like. Nikos is moving through the streets of East Haven, kind of keeping himself concealed as he normally does, but in a different way. He was very lucky because most of the people that he found freshly dead, he's been able to feast upon, but he's never really killed someone with the intention of feasting upon them. Like, it's never happened before. And he's actually struggling right now with choice. Who deserves to die so that I can have my next meal? Because he's never had to make that choice. He walks past some kids and he's sort of like thinking, well, they can't run fast. Maybe it's like venison. He looks at some of the sailors and thinks, I mean, maybe they'll put too much of a fight up, but then again, maybe they'll come pre-seasoned because of all the salt. All these kind of weird thoughts are kind of flowing through his head as he's trying to pick and choose the right person to pull off to the side and and do his thing with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do any of us in the party retain some kind of mental link with Nikos? Because he's done it to the past. He's spoken to us in our minds, and I'm wondering if
you
that's,
had the link open the last time, Gruckvar.
I guess my question, I remember that, but I guess my question is, would we know if it's like still open? Like, I don't think I would really understand even how it works,
Mm.
Yeah, like basically can Nikos yeah, I mean, so I think the way it works, and correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, but Nikos can like reach out, and that connection is probably pretty temporary. Like if you converse with someone and then 5 minutes later, it's probably not still something that Gruckvar could reach out and talk to you. What do you think?
Because I ask because I would want to be able to do that, to say to Nikos that individuals that look like he does or I do might be in potential danger here, just by association or assumed
Okay, well,
association.
Okay, so my abilities only travel for 30 foot.
Okay.
So there is a certain limitation to it. I'm just checking. I feel like I had another thing. So I've got that, and
If it's not something that I can do or access, then I think what I would do is I would just make contact with Fizwick and Clay as kind of surreptitiously as possible in the tavern, and to tell them I'm waiting outside.
and it's only temporary.
Okay.
Clay
you
kind
do
of
have the sending stone, so over too.
Yeah.
Oh, I do.
Fizwick and I still have the sending.
Fizwick-
stone, I think.
Fizwick has
Fizwick has it. Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Good luck
Clay,
finding him.
Clay kind of half sits down by the table where Fizwick was and reaches underneath and grabs him by the collar.
Now, can Fizwick have seen this coming since he was down there paying attention and he would have clearly seen Clay coming up?
You were too busy looking up
Yeah,
skirts.
I mean, let's go ahead and have Clay. Well, let's.
Clay, did Clay see me go under there to begin with?
I was watching you the whole time.
Let's go
I've
ahead and
given
have
up
stealth
trying to
versus
stop you.
Stealth versus perception. So Clay rolling stealth, Fizwick
Okay.
rolling perception.
Wait, the other way around?
No, I mean this is now to see if you.
Oh, yeah,
if
yeah.
he notices
Okay.
you approaching.
16.
20.
Okay, so yeah, Fizwick, you're momentarily distracted by a fat-looking coin purse and feel a gruff hand behind you.
I pull him back and just say, "We need to talk outside."
Okay.
And then
the people at the
stand-
table are kind of like, whoa, a
I
little freaked out.
stand up without like pulling him out. I just let him know that we're meeting outside, and
Fizwick is saying curse
and
words
leave.
that cannot be said on screen, and you just see it's just like a ball. It looks like a cat, pissed off cat.
I'm picturing the cloud from like a cartoon, and like as Fizwick's kind of kicking, and then like there's little like curse words flying out of the cloud. All right, Fizwick, do you follow as Clay makes his way outside?
Yeah.
Okay. So all three of you are outside now, and Nikos is off for a walk.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably not going too far away from the tavern, to be fair, but definitely on the streets.
Okay.
So while we're out there, I just inform the other two of what the gentleman at the table told me. And I asked Fizwick how interested he is in putting his stealth skills to real use, and wandering in the direction of where he pointed us out that this red wizard's home may be, and see if he can like divine any information from who he may encounter.
Fizwick and sneaky.
Oh, I know that, but can you listen?
Oh, Fizwick can listen. He's got big ears.
Okay, so do you guys want to make your way?
I guess the question is, do we wait for Nikos to return, being that we don't really know where he went or how long he's going to be gone? But at the same time, if they're just sweeping up the ashes now, this happened recently enough where it hasn't even been cleaned up yet. And I'm wondering if maybe time is of the essence a little bit. You know, I don't know anything personally about the Red Wizards, but it may be that somebody will come clean up his mess at some point.
My concern would be that because of the ill deeds that the Durgar and this Red Wizard's alleged to have done, that a Durgar like myself or like Nikos could be in danger. I'll be keeping a low profile while we're in town.
Maybe movement and cover is a better plan than staying in one place where you can be spotted.
Perhaps, and if
And
we
we
want
certainly-
more, if we want more information, then perhaps Fizwick or Clay, you should be the ones asking the questions from here on out.
I don't plan to ask any questions necessarily. We need Nikos here to talk us through what we may find, but scouting ahead may not be a bad idea. Keep us from sitting still and becoming a little sleepy for the night.
Not a bad idea, Clay, but I say let's gather a little intel, perhaps a little bit closer to the East Haven ferry at the other tavern. I think you'd be doing us all a great favor if we could at least
How
at least one of us
close are
pop
the-
ahead in and get some and see if anybody's
Yeah.
been talking about the Durgar.
How close are the two buildings? I got the impression that they were kind of right next to each other.
I think they're across town from each other.
Yeah, it's
From the
not
map I'm
super
looking at here.
close. Yeah, the
Oh,
map
okay.
on screen shows it's
Can't really.
a little bit far.
Okay.
Closer to the ferry dock on the left side of town,
Okay.
west.
Let's gather up Nikos and approach this as a group.
Oh, we just
Oh,
lost video.
sorry, guys. Yep, I was trying to make it a little bit bigger, and that's just a bad idea.
But we don't know where Nikos is, right? So we could be waiting.
I
here
am
for-
now hidden in East Haven. Oh god, now Ryan's eye.
How do I just like unpin? I guess I need to go back to gallery view. There we go, gallery view, and now it's probably.
Oh, I'm
moved up.
Fizwick.
Yep.
And
What have I
now-
done?
Listen, I think we need to reassess. Nikos has left, and we
Okay.
need to get ourselves together, and maybe my brothers will like to see me, despite having shot at me, stabbed me. Oh, sorry. I'm no longer Gruckvar.
I was confused. I was like, what's this? What's the story?
Yeah, no, it was Gruckvar. It was like, oh, I'm a
New
Durgar.
reveal.
They like
His
Yeah.
whole family.
They've shot at me. They've stabbed me. They've
Michael
set
is so
ogres on me.
versatile. You throw him in any of these windows, he'll become that character instantly.
Master of improv. Yep.
So knowing, I mean, we don't know when Nikos is going to be back. So
We
he's
don't,
gone.
but we know that Fizwick has the sending stones.
Oh, right. I forgot about the
He's
cell
like a
phone.
I'd also like to point out it's been at most like 10 minutes.
Well, one
Where's
patient.
Nikos?
If he's when he's
This
gone,
is 100 rounds of combat. He has
I
not
get
been
real
here.
nervous.
Nikos,
All right,
we said you could
so-
go out for fast food, not a sit down place.
I'm at a cafe.
So you guys have discussed going to the White Lady Inn, and you have also discussed trying to scope out the home of the Red Wizard. Does one of those, or do you want to wait for Nikos?
Are
You do have
they
the sending
are they
stone,
in the
so.
same direction?
Yes. So on the map here, you can see that the stables is pretty close to where the home of that Red Wizard is. Supposedly, the White Lady Inn is right here, and right now you guys are way over. Oops.
Whoa.
Way over here.
Okay. So, Fizwick, how about you use the sending stones to tell Nikos that we're headed to that place.
Towards the stables,
The White
so you
Lady
can
Inn.
investigate that house.
Toward the inn.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to investigate that house, Clay?
I do, but I also, if you want to get more info and intel, we don't know where the house even is. So if we can get more intel from the inn, then maybe that would be advantageous, and maybe we could learn more since they're
Well,
closer.
we're headed that direction. Fizwick, could you send out a message on the stones to Nikos just to let him know that a Thayan's recently been executed in town and they're on high alert for someone like himself? Just to give him that extra bit of knowledge to keep himself safe.
Nikos.
Oh.
Put your hood on and don't show your face. That's what Gruckvar said.
That's not what I said. Give him a little bit more information as to why he should be keeping himself hidden.
Tell
It's not
Gruckvar that I have made my will save against his statement of the obvious. Yes, I am wearing my hood. Why?
Because you're ugly.
I want to make a grab for the stone. Can I make a grab for the stone? I want to snap it out of Fizwick's
totally.
hand.
He's holding it like this in his hands, like he's not paying attention.
Okay.
Is-
I'm going to do,
is it
a
like-
quick
Isn't
athletics
it like
check
a
here.
phone? Can I like hang up?
I think
It's like a walkie.
Gruckvar, you should just grab his arm and lift it up to your head while he's still holding the stone.
Okay, I want to attempt that. I rolled a 15 athletics check. Can I grab hold of Fizwick and just drag him up so that I can talk on the
Yeah,
phone at
you're
the same time
holding
as him?
Fizwick like a baby, and the setting stone is near your mouth.
Nikos, I suppose you can take care of yourself, but I just want to let you know we're heading over to the stables to check out some. We're heading over to the White Lady Inn to check out some potential intel. That's where we're
Very
headed.
well.
And if you'd like to join up with us later, please do.
All right, I will. I will meet you there.
Nikos, along your walk, you do see, some, average-looking citizens, some wealthy, well-to-do types, as well as some, very destitute-looking bums and things like that. Most of the children have gone in by this time, but you do see a wide variety of people. It's a pretty diverse crowd here in East Haven.
Is there a fat guy?
Absolutely, there is a fat guy. There happens to be one who is, sitting on. It looks like maybe a barrel as he is trying to tie his shoe right now. Strap his boot, rather.
Velcro his slippers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is just player mechanic wise as well. How many hit points does the average citizen have usually?
A commoner is probably 10 hit points, 12 hit points. I don't really know.
Okay, but yeah, not too much more than that. All right, fair enough. All right, cool. I am going to go into the alleyway behind where this guy is, wait for someone to pass. There'll be a reasonably clear amount of area, and then lightning lure,
Okay.
and then drag him into the alleyway.
Yeah. So he's kind of reaching over, and you kind of maybe go around the building to so that he doesn't notice you walking right past him, and yeah. Let's. I'm just gonna make a roll here, and okay.
Ooh, and can I put a bear trap in front of me and pull him onto it?
You can. You
Good.
do so. All right. What does this lightning lure look like?
So Nikos, from the center of his palm, because he's still kind of getting accustomed to sorcery, because he was a wizard, right? So it's still kind of in the works. These several, like, kind of glowing runes start to appear like rings on his palm, almost emulating the magic stone rings that he would use as a wizard to amplify his power. But now there is no metal, there is no object or trinket, just these circles of magic. As he reaches forward, the lightning sort of coalesces in the middle of his palm and arcs forward, wrapping around the neck of the this rather rotund individual before almost magnetically bolting back towards him and over the bear trap, which slams these two massive and vicious spikes straight into the calf muscle of this dude.
Yeah, his eyes wide with terror as he looks up at you. You see kind of a reddish big mustache and thinning hair and fairly dirty, muddy clothes. Seems to be some kind of worksman or tradesman as his eyes are wide with terror, staring up at you.
I grab some snow and stuff it into his mouth if he tries to scream, or should I say when he tries to scream.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna kind of ready that and then
Yeah.
just
Yeah, he lets out, a little bit of a yelp before you manage to do this, but it's brief.
Yeah, and then I will proceed to freshly carve his head open and scoop out the delicious ice cream inside.
Yep. All right. So a bloody mess here in the snow of the alleyway as Nikos has had not his first kill per se, but in a way, it is a first.
Fizwick has been tugging on Gruckvar's shoulder with the sending stone, holding it out, playing this like a little MP3 player the whole time.
So I'm not sure if the line is open, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
It's the kind of thing that you
Rule of
can
cool.
send a message. Yeah.
If Nikos has put it away in a pouch or a pocket, it probably just sounds kind of like a muffled butt dial. We have no idea what's going on out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The three of the rest of you are now on your way to the White Lady Inn. It is, a fairly good-sized crowd there. A little more well-to-do here for the most part. Not quite the rabble that you saw at the Wet Trout. And what would you guys like to do here at the White Lady Inn?
Hide from Clay.
Okay. Go ahead and make a stealth check as you walk in the door and immediately try to duck behind some taller people.
18.
All right. And what about the others?
Clay
and
notices
Gruckvar.
he's gone, doesn't know where he went, but just sort of says to the air, like, Fizwick, see what you can find out. Just probably can't hear me, but I will go once again and find a corner and buy an ale.
All right. Yeah, you managed to do so. You see a kind of jovial halfling seems to be chatting up the crowd and checking on people, and a couple other, a young boy seems to be kind of clearing tables and things like that.
Can I, while I sit, can I look for like the signs of Fizwick? Not necessarily Fizwick himself, but like people like reaching for their purse and not finding anything there, and looking surprised about it.
Yeah, I mean, you could go ahead and make a perception check if you're really trying to keep an eye out.
If you want to be that guy, yeah, you totally
I
could.
don't want to keep tabs on Fizwick. I just want to see. I kind of want to just monitor what he's up to, just because I have nothing else to do.
Can Fizwick say what he's doing? Like he's hiding from Clay.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead and make a roll, Ryan.
Perception.
Yep.
Ooh, 11.
Okay. Yeah, you don't really see much of the signs of Fizwick here. What about Gruckvar? What is Gruckvar doing?
Well, I was going to keep my head down, but now that I see that inside of this tavern, it's a little bit more highbrow and a little bit more, perhaps a less dangerous looking, I decided to kind of take a risk and sort of take on the interviewing process myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to work my way through the crowd and just sort of whoever I come across who looks like they might be talkative, just ask them, have you seen anyone who looks, pardon me, stranger, have you seen anyone who looks like myself?
Oh my, yes, we see the occasional Duergar, but lately, I mean, you might want to keep a low profile there, sir. No, not lately.
Why is that? What's been going on?
Well, they say that there's some kind of invisible invasion going on or something. Thieving, stealing, moping about and lurking in the shadows. Duergar like yourself, they say.
What evidence is it Duergar if they're invisible?
I've just heard the rumors, that's all.
I see.
Did
I
hear
see.
of one Duergar, however, who was involved in, some heroics up north, so I suppose they're not all bad.
That's right. That's how it is. You got to take the good with the bad. Isn't that the way?
suppose. But, be careful there.
I'll
No,
keep my
I
head
haven't.
down, but can you point me in the direction of where these sorts of things have been happening? Any specifics? Any
I
places of
haven't heard-
business or?
No, I haven't really heard anything around here, but we've heard especially that up north, Duergar have been afoot and trying to apparently get a foothold here in the 10 towns.
Well, thanks for your advice.
Ask him about the burning.
Are you close by, Clay?
No,
Okay,
that
yeah.
was out of character.
Pardon me, stranger. One more question. There's been a burning in this square today. I heard it was a wizard of Thay. They've been causing troubles around here as well.
Oh yes, that was quite a thing. Wizard of Thay, though. Huh. Yeah, that's an interesting theory. I had heard something unconfirmed about that as well, but yeah, apparently they staked out his place over near the stables, I believe. Yeah.
Now, wait a moment. You've heard it. Was it someone other than a wizard of Thay? Were there more than one, or?
Well, they called him an evil wizard. That's all I know. But I also heard someone mentioning Thay. No good they are.
When there's rumors in the wind, sometimes they change and they're different depending on where you hear them. Isn't that the way it is?
You sure have a way with words.
I like to consider myself a wise old fella.
Huh. I suppose you might be old, too. Older than you look. Yeah, that's right. We humans don't really understand much of that.
Well, I'll leave you to your drink, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Come around again, maybe I'll buy you one.
That sounds good.
And he's kind of, he's biting his nails and just kind of, a little bit twitchy, and seems to walk away and find someone he knows and strike up a conversation.
Does he look nervous?
No, not really. Just kind of, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to circle back to Clay and just, I'm not sure there's a lot more information to be had in this town. I mean, it may be the case that the Duergar are here and they're carrying out their evil deeds, but no one can see them. There could be one standing next to us right now for all I know.
Clay shifts a little uncomfortably in his seat, just like makes a little extra elbow room for himself, just in case, sort of unconsciously. And then, I think we should see how long Nikos will be yet. I feel like we'll have more questions for him as the night passes. Do you think we should make our way to the stables and see if we can find the home of this evil wizard, or should we? What do you think?
I think it wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's
agree.
let's head on over there and let Nikos know where we're headed.
Fizwick has been
We
trying to
gotta
talk
find our
to
goblin friend.
Fizwick has been trying to talk to Nikos because Nikos is in the same room, right?
No, Nikos is out on the streets.
Oh, he's not out in the streets. Like how far away? So
Well, we don't know.
oh, that's right. Never mind.
Fizwick, you kind of overhear, some of the folk talking about the wizard too, and just kind of, no new information really, but it definitely seems like the town is a bit of a buzz with that knowledge. And yeah, what else are you doing there, Fizwick?
Does he see any flame anywhere?
Mm-hmm. There are definitely some kind of candles on the wall with like, sort of mirrors behind them to try to reflect some of the.
We're gonna have to run, aren't we?
Can he try to take some of that fire and find a group of wealthy-looking patrons in the bar and create a little dancing sprite in a corner that might draw their attention and cause them to come over and look for a moment and see if maybe he can hit more than one pocket at once with the distraction.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and maybe roll a sleight of hand check at advantage, as a couple of people are, oh my, that's quite incredible. And as soon as you reach into a pocket, the little flame disappears, and they're kind of, just kind of, looking at each other like, wow, did you see it? I swear I saw it, but now it's gone.
I rolled a 10, but I'd like to use my inspiration and roll again.
Well, you get to roll with advantage. So did you roll a 10 with advantage?
Wait, I don't think I've ever rolled with advantage.
So in D&D Beyond, you can just right-click and then go advantage, or you can just roll 2d20s and you take the highest.
Is there a way I can keep that previous roll, or?
Yeah. So you got the 10, and then you can just roll another sleight of hand check. That's fine.
Oh, okay. 24.
Jeez.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you definitely come away with a few coins there in these pockets. So we'll say you get, 2 gold pieces, probably all said and done, some silver, but a total of 2 gold. Yeah, I mean, the crowd is kind of starting to thin out a little bit here as it's getting late here in the White Lady Inn. Nikos, what are you up to at this time?
That depends. How far have I gotten through my meal?
Well, I would say by now you've definitely finished your meal.
Okay. I'll kind of do what the equivalent of the Thayan version of grace would be, like, giving thanks to the sacrifice that has been made so that one can continue. It's then with hunger now satiated that Nikos' mind reels and he goes, I've murdered someone. I need to hide a body. And I'm going to look through my repertoire of spells.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would like to potentially do is, now this is going to sound very delicious, but I'm going to use a combination of Tasha's Caustic Brew and Shape's Snow, and I want to liquefy the remains and then freeze it, and then mix it with the snow, and then, just wash it away.
Mm-hmm. So I guess my question would be the bones. Would the bones also be, I can imagine that working with everything except for the bones, unless you're saying, is it, I don't know the details of the spells, I guess, so.
The spell itself, a stream of acid emanates from you in a 30-foot line. Each creature in the line must make a dexterity saving throw or be covered in acid for the duration of the spell, which is concentration up to minutes. Creature covered takes 2d4 acid damage at the start of each of its turns. So basically the idea here is that even if the bones were covered in acid, there are obviously acids that'll burn through bone. If these don't, I imagine they'll stain them green and make them quite brittle. If that is the case, then I will by hand crush them up using.
Yeah, I can imagine you can even just stomp on them, really. And
I hope this alley is longer than 30 feet, or people are going to get a shower walking past it.
Yeah.
Well, I assume it's more directional at the body.
Yeah. I'll aim it downwards towards the body.
Okay.
Or it could be like, dang it. Oh my God.
Yeah,
that was a lot more force than I thought it was. So I'll do that, and then I'll use my actually, you know what? If the bone are in relative tack, I am going to take the pieces of the bone to the stable, kind of wrap them up, and then I'm going to feed it to my owlbears.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You guys probably would have stopped by the stable. I forgot, because you also have your axe beaks, and sure. So you can swing by the stable
Yeah.
and bring some bones over there for the young owlbears. Yeah.
Yep.
And they
Silence
enjoy.
of the Lambs all over again.
Yep. They enjoy.
Get them trained to eat that human meat.
Oh, who's a good vicious man eater? Here you go.
Right now
You
they've
like
got
that?
a taste. That's all they're
It's
gonna
all
want.
yeah, it's all fat and juicy and delicious.
Fizwick wants to see if he can sneak up behind Clay without him seeing it.
Oh, sorry. What was that? Will?
Fizwick wants to see if he can sneak up behind Clay without him seeing it.
Oh, okay. Sure. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
14?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, what's your passive wisdom there, Ryan? Probably a little
12.
lower. Yeah. So yeah, you managed to sneak up behind him without him seeing.
Wants
So-
to poke him really hard in the hamstring.
So when you do that, given what Gruckvar and Clay had just talked about, he jumps a little bit and kicks you so hard. Not on purpose, just on instinct. You just get booted.
Yeah. Fizwick. I imagine it kind of knocks the wind out of Fizwick a bit. And okay. Now what?
I stand up and look down and see the goblin.
Mm-hmm. Fizwick, what is your intent here?
I was just like letting him know I was here. You know, I just snuck up behind him, poked him.
Okay. Yep.
Fizwick doesn't care what we're doing. He's just been messing off. It's Fizwick, but he's not here asking people questions. I wasn't saying that to Nate. What do you think he's doing?
So let me get this straight. The rogue snuck up behind the bard and the barbarian and yelled "surprise," and then copped a drop kick to the neck. Yeah, sounds about right. Surprise! Bang!
That's about how that would go in most parties, I
Yeah.
think. All right. So the night is getting late. You guys could get a bed here at the White Lady Inn. You could also head over to Fizwick, I guess, who knows of a place that he normally stays. So that's another option. What would you guys like to do?
Were we gonna go scope out the area around the stables, or should we wait until the morning?
Let's
I'm a
do
lit-
that right now. Let's do that
Yeah.
right now. And
I'm
while we're heading over there, let's just once again use the stones, and we notify Nikos that's where we're headed.
Yep, very good. Okay, so you guys are headed over there. The kind of jovial halfling kind of tips his hat at you as you, or probably more likely bows or something, gives a gracious bow. Thank you. Come again. And you guys head out toward the stables. As you near the stables, you do see a house with a guard out in front of it, and
Like a city guard, or
Yep, just a town guard.
Okay.
It seems to be the only one with a guard stationed there.
just one?
And it's a guard stationed at the bottom of a staircase, actually, that leads up to a door on the second story of a two-story building.
Fizwick, do you think you could sneak around that guard and see what's in there?
Fizwick nods.
As an afterthought, I lean down really close to Fizwick and I say, "No fires, and don't steal anything. It might be dangerous."
Okay.
Wait, on second thought, touch everything you want.
And burn it all down.
Can Fizwick sneak up there and take a peek?
Yeah, definitely go ahead and make a stealth check, and maybe, how are you sneaking here? Are you going to try to, climb up the banister behind him quietly, or are you going to try to distract him? It's just a guard
rolled an
standing at
el-
the bottom of a staircase, basically, and there's a railing.
I rolled an 11, so I was maybe to make up for such a low roll, he could use his mage hand to tap him on the ankle.
Okay.
Is the staircase
just see
going
here.
up to an actual house, or is it going to like some sort of other possible?
I think they
dwelling
said it was the
place?
second floor of the building, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably like an apartment sort of deal.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a doorway at the top of the
Okay.
staircase. It's on like the side of a building, sort of.
Oh, okay.
Gruckvar is watching Fizwick make this attempt, and if he's struggling, I'm going to use thaumaturgy to make the sound of a raven cawing,
Okay.
or loud enough that it would catch the guard's attention.
Nice.
Yep. And as Fizwick kind of taps the ankle and then hears a caw, I'm gonna let Fizwick maybe make one more stealth roll to see if that's enough, or how stealthy he can be after these 2 distractions.
15.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you just kind of he feels something, kind of bends down, like itching his boot, and then he hears something and he looks up, and then you just kind of sneak right past a little shadow up the staircase here, and make it to the top of the staircase. The door is locked, and it seems to be made of pretty thin wood overall.
Can I try to pick the lock?
Yes, absolutely.
Sleight of hand?
Yep.
14.
Yeah, I mean, you managed to do so without too much trouble. It takes you a little bit of a struggle, but you managed to pick the lock open before being noticed by the guard. And inside this room, it's quite dark, but you can see that there is a bed, there is a desk, there is a wash basin of some kind, and that's about it. Some papers on the desk if you want to investigate those.
Yeah, have him walk over and take a peek at those.
Yeah, you see various communications, a couple maps of East Haven, and kind of the surrounding Icewind Dale area, and you see, I guess the only things that really stand out to you are some is a phrase that basically says, "We may be branded traitors," and I'll kind of probably. Yeah, I'm going to take note of this so that I can send it to you guys later as well. But for now, okay. We may be branded traitors for joining, for leaving our order and joining with the Arcane Brotherhood, but I believe we are doing the right thing. And kind of notes about, we must find the wonders buried under the ice out there somewhere.
Can Fizwick wrap this up and say something about Nikos, something under his breath?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just kind of quietly tucks it under his shirt.
Yep.
Now, can he also look around again, because he's just skeptical? I mean, the door is locked. There's some bunch of insignificant papers up here. Can you look around again?
Yeah, I mean, you also do find some some valuables, like a bit of jewelry, probably something in the neighborhood of 20 gold pieces worth of jewelry here, some gems and baubles and things like that. And other than that, there's not much here. Just probably a traveling pack of some kind, a bedroll, some warm weather clothing. Not much else.
Can Fizwick gather up that good jewelry there into a separate bag and put it yet again into his shirt, tucked down within another shirt, in a nice hidey place?
Yep, you managed to do so.
And he says under his breath, he tries to leave. You can hear him say something about Clay.
All right. Very good. All right. And you see the guard kind of stationed down there at the bottom of the stairs. You now see him seated on the bottom stair. He's taken his boot off and he's trying to feel for something inside his boot.
I want to send down to Nikos to Nikos, can you get Gruckvar to make the squawk?
Yeah, and where is Nikos? Nikos was near the stables, so would he, would you have encountered Gruckvar and Clay perhaps hiding around a corner somewhere?
I'd look out for them if I could see them.
Yeah, I would say probably if you're near the stable here, you would, you would see. I imagine you would see Gruckvar and Clay's like hindquarters kind of poking around a corner as you pass one alleyway.
Hey, I know those butts.
I know those hindquarters anywhere.
I look around and then I speak into them into Gruckvar's mind. What are you doing?
We're acting as lookouts for Fizwick while he investigates this apartment.
I look across from the stables. And you used a sending stone to tell me that you were here.
Well, I suppose that he did.
I see. And you... I want to make a point here. Nikos knows Gruckvar can go invisible. He knows this. It's a known thing. And just seeing him on all fours with his butt sticking out of like a very, very poor hiding spot he's just gonna try and move on from that fact and then look and say, what exactly is he hoping to find from breaking and entering into this apartment?
Well, we're not sure. We're just curious.
So
We've
you're
got
breaking into some random person's apartment because you're curious.
Well, that's the thing, Nikos. It's not some random person. This is that
We were hoping for
so-called
Lady
evil
Winter
wizard the
Garment.
whole town's been talking about. We'd
And
like
what
a little
he's-
bit more
What?
information. What?
I don't know
What he's
anything
been
about an
up
evil
to.
wizard. What are you talking about? There's no body.
Well,
What?
He tour the conversation.
well, that's what I was trying to get across to you earlier. They may, if they do see you, they may think that you're a party to this action because
What
some
action?
folks
What
are
has
some folks are
happened?
saying some folks have been saying it's a thing.
I left
that
you
was
for
killed.
2 minutes for lunch.
Fizwick hasn't heard
Can
the
I-
sneaking, so he's gonna try to like sneak by the guy.
Can
And
I
he-
see that Gruckvar and Nikos are basically texting each other from across the room?
from their brains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, wouldn't Clay and I sort of be like looking at the doorway? Like, we might even see Fizwick's shadow. So then I could blast another thaumaturgy crow sound out there
Yeah.
if I've seen that.
If I
see-
know that Nikos can see us, I don't know if I can. If I do, but if I do, I would just motion for him to come over here.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I imagine you're looking around, trying to keep an eye out. So if Nikos can see, if he's in eyesight right now, you could do so.
I wiggle my butt in a come hither manner.
Yeah.
I refuse to answer anyone's come hither butt. Not happening. I will.
Also,
big
I
and
kind of just
blue.
pictured us standing in an alley or something, but Nikos has put us like into these barrels with our butts sticking out.
No, I just
We're-
like,
It's like
I
we're
just-
practicing for the circus. Like you're on all fours on my back, and I'm on all fours.
in my mind, I looked really cool. But then when I heard Nikos describe it, I was just like trying to hide like a puppy would, not knowing that like my butt's visible.
It's one of those classics. Like, well, now that you put it that way, it doesn't sound so cool.
Yeah.
Nikos, what is your passive wisdom? No reason.
Nikos's passive wisdom is a 10.
Okay.
Oh, passive perception. Sorry, I
Wow.
meant.
Yeah,
I meant-
yeah. Nikos, you feel a blunt blow to the back of your head. And turning around, you see three kind of rough-looking characters here who are saying, and one of them's kind of got you by the clothing now, hand over your purse.
Sword burst.
Yep.
Do,
Everybody roll
I don't even-
initiative.
Do we see this?
Yeah,
happen?
I
Yeah,
don't even
you would
entertain.
probably
I don't even
hear
entertain
this.
a conversation. As soon as he hit me in the back of the head, I'm like,
Yep.
10.
All right, everyone roll initiative. We've got
13.
all right.
17.
Okay.
23.
Okay. So we got
I roll or
Fizwick.
night.
Yeah, absolutely. Fizwick, then Nikos, and then Gruckvar and Gruckvar and Clay. What'd you guys get again? Sorry.
I got a 10.
13.
Okay. So then we've got Gruckvar Clay. All right, and you guys, Gruckvar and Clay, you guys turn around and you see two thick, kind of barrel-chested, bandit-looking types here, along with a smaller, kind of skinnier one who's now holding a knife. And
You gentlemen like what you see?
and they are kind of huddled around Nikos here. Probably didn't see you at all. And we're
Oh
gonna
wait,
go...
so Nikos came over to us, or is he still in the stables where he
No,
was?
he's just an eye shot. We just see that happen.
He is basically like a block away. Like from you're
Right.
on one corner of a building, and he's on like the other corner of a
So
building.
And while he was
bad
talking
guy-
to me in my
there's-
brain, I also just heard him say sword burst.
There's
Yes.
bad guys by us and bad guys by him.
Yes. No, sorry, only by him. My bad. Only by
Oh,
him.
okay.
Yep. And I'll go ahead. Let's go ahead and do this. Select.
So because they've grabbed me, the way that sword burst works is it creates a momentary circle of spectral blades that start to just sweep around me. My goal is to, yes, do damage, but also to just get them to get their goddamn dirty mitts off me.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with Fizwick, and then you're gonna get to do that before they go again, Michael. But we're gonna start with Fizwick here. Fizwick, you well, I guess Alex, what noise had you made this time to try to distract the guard?
An owl bear growl.
Okay. So Fizwick, go ahead and make your stealth roll with advantage. Try to sneak back down the stairs past the guard.
12, and with advantage, I roll it again.
Yep.
Okay.
And in D&D Beyond, you can just right-click on your stealth roll, and then you can select advantage, and it will automatically roll twice for you, but just for
24.
future reference. Okay. Yeah, so he's kind of looking, where did that come from, as Gruckvar has made this noise. And Gruckvar, is that directional? Can you, choose where it emanates from?
Yeah, like within 30 feet of myself, I think, something like that.
Yeah, so you managed to make it sound like there's some kind of beast pretty close to me. And Fizwick, you would hear that too, and you would but you would probably know. And you just dart by. You see in the distance, as you kind of dart over to where Gruckvar and Clay are, you see behind, probably just 3 or 4 dark shapes as Fizwick and Clay have now turned around and are looking at what's going on with Nikos. You can't quite tell it's Nikos from where you are, but what would you like to do?
He wants to try to get as close as possible, but hide and see if he can. He sees Nikos powering up. He knows some shit's about to go down.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to get too close, but he wants to stay and let Nikos perform his thing. So can he hide and then and his goal is to try to sneak attack one of these guys if it gets close enough and just really lay the smack down.
Yeah, I imagine there's another doorway in the building adjacent to where Nikos is, and you just kind of sneak along and you just kind of up against the doorway of the building, and you're now probably about 15-20 feet from the action there. Yep. All right, very good. Next up we have Nikos. So Nikos, how does this spell work?
Okay, so Sword Burst is an instantaneous verbal spell, takes 1 action, and they need to make me dexterity saving throws or take 1d6 force damage.
Okay, dexterity saving throws coming right up. That first one, okay, let me pull up the stat block here, sorry. And, okay. First one is a fail. Second one is a, let's see, 12 dexterity saving throw. What's the target there?
So that would be 13 is the target.
Okay, so that's 2 fails, and the last one is plus also a fail, so another 12. Okay, so all of them fail, and you can go ahead and roll the damage for that.
Very well. That is 3 damage apiece.
Okay, very good. And we've got...
Do they let me go?
Yeah, they definitely kind of as these. And what does this look like?
So Thean blades are what I imagine to be quite vicious looking. As much as they are supposed to be weapons of war, because Theans rely on magic more than they rely on martial weapons. A lot of the tools that they used were symbols of intimidation. So the blades that form out of force energy appear to have these kind of curves to them that kind of almost make them look like serpent tails at the ends of these very, very ornate handled short swords. And it creates a perfectly spinning orbit around Nikos as it sort of just almost like it's almost like an autopilot. It like just sort of cuts like a buzzsaw and then retracts back into his person and disappears.
So, Michael, do they stick out straight, like perpendicular to your body, or are they like hanging in the air? With
I imagine them
blade
out
down
and
around?
perpendicular away from me, so there's like it's safe around where I am.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. Okay. Very cool. So they definitely like back off, eyes wide with terror. They picked on the wrong poor soul here. All right, next up, well, not such a poor soul after all. They were hopeful. All right.
Oh yeah.
Anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
I will tell them very, very plainly. Good. I was hoping to find more rations.
And that brings us to Gruckvar.
Too bad he killed some innocent dude.
I know, right? Where were you half an hour ago?
He did a lot of hard work for one hamburger, well, 3 free hamburgers just appeared.
Yeah, that's it.
Huh. Am I within like? Yeah, I'm close enough here. I'm going to fire a crossbow bolt at him.
Okay.
I'll just fire I'm aiming for the guy who's holding a knife. I assume he still is.
Yep, the skinny one with the knife. Absolutely.
11.
An 11 is not a hit. So yeah, your crossbow bolt kind of skids along the side of the building, scraping the wood, but it does not hit. And anything else you'd like to do?
I want to get as close as I can to them. I'm not sure
Okay.
exactly how far away they are, but I'm going to move towards them as close as I can.
Yep. You managed to do so, and you are now...
Back of my head still has you in the bucket.
Two little fat legs coming out of
Yeah,
there.
that's exactly it.
I would say you're almost in melee range now, Gruckvar.
Did the does the guard see all this happening?
Well, the guard hasn't moved yet, but, if you were to look, yeah, you can definitely see that his eyes are now drawn to a new sort of noise.
Okay.
A disturbance. All right. Very good. Next up is Clay's turn.
Okay. As Gruckvar moves away, I want to like sort of stage whisper out to him like he can take care of himself, and then but obviously it's too late because he's already moving. So then I sort of grumble and I take a look at the guard because presumably Gruckvar just ran right in front of him to the other side.
No, Gruckvar, not in front of the guard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so basically this is all happening even further from the guard.
Also,
Okay.
side note, I don't care if the guard sees me because it's the kind of town we're in. I'm sure he sees this kind of stuff all the time, and it doesn't really involve him. So,
No, right. Okay. I'm just trying to get a picture of what's going on. So, okay, so I'm going to I'm not going to be in any sort of hurry, but I'll sort of just walk at normal pace toward the bandits with clenched fists. And once I get there, I'm just going to hold an action to if it comes to the point where like before my next turn the bandits manage to hit one of my companions for, let's say, more than, I don't know, what's a paltry amount of damage, like 5 hit points or something like that.
Yeah.
If they manage to do more than 5 damage to one of my companions, I'm going to ready an unarmed strike.
Okay. Yep.
you're going to let these jokers slap us around a little bit? All
No,
right.
you can handle yourself. Nikos could handle himself. I don't know why you went running in to save the day.
3 versus 1? No way.
They're
All
just
right.
ruffians.
Very good. That brings us back to, well, that brings us to the bandits here. And they feel, well, let's just say there is terror in their eyes, and they're going to turn heel and run.
See? Told you.
They did not know what they were messing with. And so they're all gonna dash basically as far away from Nikos as possible. Nikos, you could go ahead and make an opportunity attack as they do so on, I guess, one of them. Use a reaction if you'd like to.
Oh.
Or is your tummy full and you're all sleepy?
Yeah, see, Nikos is not a murderer, but I do need information, and that guy might have it. The guy who grabbed me, who bopped me on the head, can I pick which one that guy is?
Yeah, he's definitely like the big one in the middle.
Oh yeah, he's definitely the one I want to throw my tentacle at.
All right. Yep,
So I'm
go
going
for
to
it.
actually I'm actually going to pull down my mouth, and you see my jaw separate, and this long retractable tongue just sort of reaches out and grabs him by the neck. Oh, it's going to try and grab him by the neck.
Yep, go ahead and so do you have to roll for that, or does he need to make a save?
I need to make an attack first,
Yep.
and then there's damage involved, and then I make a it's the basic grapple check, so I make a athletics check, but use my intelligence instead of strength.
All right. Yep.
Okay, so my attack is 21 to hit.
Definitely a hit.
The damage on my tongue is 2d8 plus 3.
And are you trying to kill him?
No. So I will do non-lethal if possible.
Yep. Absolutely.
11 points of damage.
Yeah, you knock him out cold as this tongue just kind of, I imagine it kind of wrapping around him and just almost smacking him in the face sort of thing. And
Actually, weirdly enough, it's psychic damage,
oh, okay. Yeah.
for whatever that means.
Yeah, well, anyway, it definitely has him out cold as you see the body just go limp.
He was traumatized to sleep by that attack.
Sweet. Oh, and
one of them
and
looks back
Madness
very
here.
briefly, like, "Ah, no, and then just kind of, they both keep running.
Careful where your tongue goes. I think he might have wet himself.
I'll pull my tongue back into my mouth and then replace it with my firm grasp of his shirt. Also, fun fact: if the target is a medium or smaller creature, it is automatically grappled when I do this.
Okay, yeah, so he's definitely grappled.
Yeah. So yeah, I will grab him, and if he's unconscious, I'll sort of do the whole gentle slap on the face just to make sure he's unconscious, and then roll my eyes, and I'll kind of just put him off to the side for later, in multiple reasons. Just kind of.
Yep.
And I'll look over at Gruckvar, who's walking over.
Yeah. And Gruckvar, you kind of hear a crunch in the snow behind you as the guard is walking over and says, "Who there? What's going on? Hey, what's happening?" And you see a lowered spear kind of pointing at you, Clay, and Gruckvar.
Can I immediately just turn around and stand between the guard and Gruckvar since I'm in that spot already, and kind of hold up my hands and just say, "No, it's all under control. A friend of ours got into some trouble, but it's fine now."
Okay. And he looks very unsure and is just kind of, looking over there.
I kind of
You're
do the dance to like stay in his vision.
What are you doing here?
We're just visiting town. We have some friends in the area.
No, I mean here.
Oh,
We have just put our axe beaks in for stable. We are tourists.
And what happened?
Well, our friend took to the drink a bit too much. It was a welcome to the town. He's resting it off for now, but we'll make sure he gets home.
See, like I said, nothing to worry about.
Go ahead and Nikos and Clay make a persuasion check for me.
Could I make a deception check?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Did I also make it?
Yeah, actually, deception is more
Oh.
appropriate. Yes.
I am
That
going-
is 26.
Oh, never mind. I was going to use my inspiration, but it sounds like I might not need to.
Yeah, he's definitely like.
I rolled a 6.
Nikos.
My tongue may be a tentacle, but it is still silver.
Yeah, Nikos is fairly, well dressed as well compared to the others. So he seems to take what Nikos is saying a bit more seriously and seems to nod and say, "All right, well, you'll want to head in soon. This is a dangerous part of town. Bandits about and such. Y'all take care, okay?"
Do you have any suggestions of where we could stay, good sir?
Well, the White Lady Inn is the most common destination for a warm bed, but yes.
You hear a little voice say from the snow, "We ain't staying out no White Lady Inn. We're gonna go stay at the Dark Sea Workshop. I got a room here, man."
And the guard just kind of looks a little quizzically confused and turns back
Thank
to
you
his
for your
post.
service, sir. I'm sure you have much more important things to do than trouble yourself with us.
Yes, back to my post. Thank you.
Good night.
And he
Just
just,
like-
yeah, go ahead.
Fizwick grabs Nikos and he's like, "Come on, you guys. I got a place for us to go. I got a place for us to sleep. It really ain't gonna cost no money. And Clay, you can stay outside if you want."
Thanks.
I still, as we're walking away from the guard, I'm like, I still would like to know if this thing about an evil wizard, and because Nikos wasn't filled in on the full details of the story, which I imagine en route will be caught up on.
Yeah. Let's. We've learned more, but let's head to where Fizwick. Head to the place Fizwick knows, where we may be safe and can talk in private.
You guys gonna love it. You can unload anything you stole here. You might even be able to ask him any stupid questions you got. They know about all kinds of stuff. Got many artifacts there, but watch your hands. Don't touch anything.
Yeah, and as
Wait.
Fizwick, I imagine that you guys would probably fill.
As surprising, the same look. I'm gonna try and draw this picture or find a way to make this picture. It is Nikos with this look. It's a very unique look. It's the same look he gave Gruckvar, the invisible dwarf, when he was hiding just in plain sight, not very well. And it's the same look that he's giving Fizwick when Fizwick's telling him not to go around touching things. It's like this. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so as you guys walk along here, I imagine you would probably fill Nikos in on what you've heard about the possible red wizard who was burned at the stake earlier today.
What did you find in the building, Fizwick?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's right. And Fizwick kind of gets out his paperwork, and you can just see him pull it out like he's a clown. Like it just starts emanating from his shirt.
Is it all different colors of the rainbow too?
Yeah, and it stinks too.
It started as white paper, and now it's like there are a variety of colors.
And he just kind of holds it up, and you see a couple silver coins spill out of it too. And he just kind of like you can see him pat something else back down.
Yeah.
And he's kind of holding up the papers and.
Yep, and you guys can see the information there that, among many other pieces of communication, the emphasis, really, the things that stand out are that this supposed red wizard is talking about how they may be branded traitors for leaving the order and joining with the Arcane Brotherhood. But the rewards will be great, as there are magnificent things out there buried under the ice.
Fizwick, when he
somewhere.
saw the. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Fizwick, when he saw the papers, he said something about Nikos under his voice. He thought something right when he saw it, because it didn't make any sense that this was just locked in here. So he wants to try to. Nikos, can you see anything in the papers? Any writing that we can't see through magic?
And Nikos, I imagine that the, Thayans might have their own language, yes?
Yeah, yep, it's Thayan.
Yeah, so I imagine that some of them would, be written in that language as well, and would probably, probably not the new information. If I had done it better, I probably would have said, well, no one can read this except for Nikos. But anyway, yeah, I imagine that there are certain things that you would definitely recognize. Oh yes, this person was a red wizard.
It seems as though this person was indeed a red wizard, like myself. What do the notes specifically say?
Yeah, I mean, just what I divulged, that, there's some fear about, perhaps being branded traitors for leaving the Red Wizards, you would imply, and joining with this Arcane Brotherhood, but treasure out there under the ice.
Sorry, I more mean like stations or names or anyone I recognize.
Yeah. I think you probably would recognize some of these names, and we should maybe talk later, and
Sure.
Between this session and next, to see what that might mean for you, because I know vengeance is one of your aims, and so maybe we can talk about who were those who betrayed you. Would Nikos know, and who might they be, and things like that. So let's
might
definitely
this-
pin that one and talk about it.
Who might this
Well, yeah.
arcane-
So I won't reveal much beyond what what we've already discussed, but I will definitely confirm the Thayan element to it.
Who might this Arcane Brotherhood be?
Whomever it might be, it turned my countrymen against the kingdom. So they are enemies. That is all I need to know.
And as you guys walk along here, Fizwick is leading you toward an alleyway, a little kind of dead-end cul-de-sac almost toward the edge of town, somewhere up here. And you seemingly are going to be walking to this very small shack at the end of this cul-de-sac. But all of a sudden, a dark hooded figure steps out and says, "Oh, Hey, it is you, little one," he says to Fizwick. And, just a moment, sorry. Welcome back. I've heard tale, well, of not just you, Fizwick, but all of you. You best keep a lower profile if you want to stay in the employ of the Darksea Workshop there, little one. The masters wouldn't want anyone drawing too much attention.
Oh, it's good to see you, old friend. I've bought some new friends of my own here. And you can see Fizwick hold out his hand and exchange just a little flash.
Yeah, and you would know this as Borin, and he is a Goliath. He's very tall, but he's kind of wearing a hood, and but he would look at the rest of you and say, "Well met." And he kind of motions for you to pass around the side of this house. Yeah, do you do so, or do you have anything else you want to do? Ask him or say?
Well, it was nice to see you, buddy.
Good to see you too. And you walk around this small shack, and as soon as you pass through the back of it, you guys notice like there's kind of a grassy area, no snow, and you feel this kind of like as you walk past the corner of this shack. It feels different to you, and all of a sudden you feel warmth. You notice a piece of clover on the grass, a little white flower, something that you haven't seen in quite some time. And there's a small garden plot that seems to be growing, tomatoes and carrots and peas and things like that on the side of a very kind of teetering looking structure, wooden with like a strange turret sticking out the side, a bit of smoke coming out of a metal pipe in the middle. Fizwick, you are home, and I guess the closest thing to home you have here in Icewind Dale.
Was it like daylight in here?
It is not daylight, but it does appear a little bit brighter. And you see all of a sudden it flashes, and all of a sudden you see snow on the ground, just for a split second. No garden, just for a split second. And then you hear some cursing inside as someone, you hear a loud pounding noise, and it's back to the way that it was. This idyllic little teetering
Walked into the
cottage
imagination
shop here.
station.
And Fizwick says, "Oh, you guys are gonna love it here. It's so much fun. Wait till you get inside to meet Elias. He's so much fun, Nikos. It's gonna be like a playground in there for you. Oh, Clay, you might get a stick out of your butt in there too. Oh, come on, Gruckvar, you're gonna love it." And he kind of just runs towards the door.
Yeah. And that is where we're going to take a short break.
Cool.
All right. Thanks everyone so much for being with us here. A little lower attendance tonight because I had the time as yesterday at 9:15 a.m. for the game. So sorry we're about like 18 hours or 36 hours late or whatever. But thanks for being here with us. I do want to give a quick shout out to Michael's channel. Check it out in the video description if you want to see more of Michael role-playing, running games. He runs a mean game, folks. Check him out over on Dead Aussie Gamer. Gosh, workshop.
Dead Aussie
Aussie
Workshops. That's
Workshop.
actually not a bad idea. I'm thinking about doing like a Hero Forge workshop thing, and I was thinking about a name. So Dead Aussie Workshop might be cool.
There you go.
There might be one. Look at that.
So yeah, check out links to his Twitch and YouTube channel in the video description. And also, of course, Will's got the actual Darksea Workshop. It's an Etsy shop, and you should check out his stuff. He makes jewels of various kinds, pendants, and dice coming soon. So check out his Etsy shop and support an independent craftsman. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in about 5 or 10, everybody.
Well, there's also one more person you forgot to promote.
And that is me.
That's you.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
you. If you like WASD20, there's a main WASD20 YouTube channel you can go and subscribe
not
to if
worth
you
it.
haven't already.
There is, and thank you for that reminder. Don't forget that patrons at the quest giver level and higher get access to campaign diaries for these games, in which I, just kind of reflect on the process of running a game and do a little bit of kind of talking about what's coming up and things like that. So if you want to get access to those, head on over to patreon.com/WASD20.
It's for all those behind the sceners.
That's right. All right, we'll be back soon, guys. Thanks for being here. All right, everybody, we're back. Thanks for hanging with us here as we took a short break. We had just going to give a recap for maybe those who are just joining us. The first part of the session here, the players arrived, or the characters arrived in East Haven, and they have picked up on some murmurs about Dwargar, certainly, that have come from the north, along with the player characters. And that Dwargar are afoot, so lots of murmurings and concerns about that. And then there was also an execution here in East Haven earlier this day, a burning at the stake of a red wizard, perhaps. The party seems to have confirmed that fact. And the red wizard seems to be working with a group called the Arcane Brotherhood, and there may be others who are as well. Now the group is headed to the Darksea Workshop, which is a place that Fizwick has done a lot of work for, we'll say, in terms of stealing and various other jobs, sort of a secretive adventurer's place, as we will soon learn more about. Oh, and there was also a little scuffle with some bandits that quickly turned very bad for the bandits. Yes. All right. So, you guys find yourself at the door of the Darksea Workshop. Again, this tall wooden structure with precarious little bits and like lots of little add-ons here and there over the years. And there's a sign on the front that says the Darksea Workshop. And as Fizwick, I assume you are first pulling the door or pushing the door open. You see all sorts of clutter about. On one shelf to the left, you see jewels with a light shining on them, and kind of this radiant backlight makes these jewels cast like reflections in the rest of the room here. You see a small zeppelin or blimp of some kind, like this little mini airship that seems to be flying around the room. There's a bright red parrot, macaw, perched on the right side of the doorway, and it croaks out, "Welcome," upon your entrance here. And there is also just all sorts of oddities here. All sorts of oddities, strange things, wondrous objects, but most notably, there is a small, frail man, human man, hunched over a workbench with a big magnifying glass, seemingly working on some jewelry or something like that. And he doesn't even bother to look up. He is focused, very focused on the task before him. All of a sudden, a little pug runs out and runs right up in front of Fizwick and says, "Hello there. Welcome home, Master Fizwick."
Oh, hey. Oh, wow. Fizwick. Okay, hold on. I got to go back in time. Fizwick voice. Hold on a second. Oh, hey there, good buddy. It's good to see you. And you notice that Fizwick does not treat this animal the same way that he treats other animals. He does not lower himself. He does not get on his knee. He doesn't pet it. Oh, you look like you've gotten younger, my friend.
Oh, thank you. And yes, Fizwick, you would know that this is Tomas. And he says, "Oh, thank you." And he kind of raises a paw and says, "Well, things are interesting as ever around here. Elias is over there working as usual. And, well, I suppose we've heard of your friends as well. Might want to keep a lower profile, sir."
Oh, yeah, it's kind of hard to do. We got some guy that likes to eat people, and then we got an asshole, and then we've got, it's difficult at times.
Right.
Wait, Fizwick, who's the asshole?
I mean, you could probably pick any one of us at any given moment.
Right. And then Elias, you see, stands up and says, "Ah, that is it. Oh, hello. Fizwick. Ah, how are you?
Fizwick kind of like changes his demeanor a little bit more. His slouch pops up. He's all of a sudden, you just see that he's almost in a different body, almost like he's respecting this person on a different level, and he's giving him an attention that you've never seen Fizwick give anybody give.
Master Elias, I'm doing very well. I have brought some friends. I have brought good friends. Nobody would want to use as bait or anything like that, so, you know, they're good friends. I have to make this clear, so don't do anything out of place, please, with them. I would like to make sure they leave the shop with me, to be clear, Master Elias, please.
Yes. In their current form, I
Right.
suppose.
Exactly. That would be nice. Everybody just where they're supposed to be with all the parts where they're supposed to be at, except for the big guy. If you want to rearrange some things, that's okay.
All right. Yes. Well,
The whole time
That-
that Clay is talking to this guy, I mean, that Fizwick's talking to this guy, Clay's face is getting more and more concerned. Just like he's not even hiding it. He's just like, what is even happening right now?
yeah. And this guy, he looks. I mean, he's just got white hair back in like dreadlocks with a ponytail, and and he looks, pretty slightly disheveled. Bifocals a little bit crooked, very wrinkly, but still managing to move fairly spryly as he extends a hand to each one of you. Well met. Elias Moondiver is the name.
Fizwick has gone to run off and talk to the pug. You can just see him murmuring in the corner. He's completely out of the moment with you guys.
So, welcome to the Darksea Workshop. It's a very select few, kind of an exclusive crowd here who get to shop in the workshop. And what might I do for you this fine day?
Well, this is an excellent question. Firstly, allow us to introduce ourselves. I am Nikos, and these are my companions, Gruckvar and Clay. We are, as Fizwick mentioned, friends of his, and to be perfectly honest, we find ourselves at a little loss. He mentioned that we might be able to afford some means of safe haven while we are in town for free.
Yes, well, friends of Fizwick are friends of ours, and we do have rooms
Yes,
below.
very briefly on that point, the friends of Fizwick part, perhaps if you would indulge, having
us a
traveled
picture.
with the rather resourceful goblin, I find myself struggling to believe that such a carefully crafted and meticulous place such as this would be accommodating for Fizwick's energy.
Yes, well, we have an alarm system in place to prevent any accidents, if you know what I mean.
That is why he said don't touch anything, because he has triggered probably every single alarm that is here. Yeah.
That explains it. Yes, that's it. But yes, we
You're
do
a
have some-
wise man.
I am a wise man?
You are a wise man.
Oh, well, thank you. And you seem quite intelligent yourselves, yes.
I bow.
I can say you that, well, you could do worse than Fizwick, most certainly. And, yes, now, here's the thing. You're going to have to, and he kind of yells this in Fizwick's direction, you're going to have to do your best not to draw any more attention to yourselves while you're in town here, if you're going to be coming back at all to the Darksea Workshop here. It's sort of a off-the-books location here. Exclusive crowd, as I said. But, Fizwick, I suppose you'll be wanting to head to your room soon. It is getting quite late. There are quarters below. Nothing very fancy, I'm sorry to say. The masters stay upstairs, and, well, the rest of the society down below.
As he's saying that, Clay hears where the rooms are, and then just sort of like quietly turns and pretends to be looking at the goods, but just wanders outside of the door. So he just leaves the shop to where the grass is, and he sort of stands there, kind of like running his boots through the grass, and like breathing deeply, and gets very, very sad and sullen.
Fizwick had seen this, and Fizwick had come out, and he comes out behind him, and he gives him another poke in the other leg this time.
He says, "Hey, buddy." I says, "What's wrong? Aren't you having a good time? Oh, they got some good drinks in there if you want to go have some drinks. We haven't even got started. Or you might even get a fortune telling. Who knows? Come on, man. What are you doing out here?"
There's a reason I came to this frozen wasteland. This is not the scenery I chose to surround myself with. And he just sort of leaves it at that and kind of keeps walking. How far do I have to walk to sort of like to leave this illusion space?
Yeah, probably about 50 feet or so.
Okay.
Nikos will apologize to his kind host and says, "I'm terribly sorry. My friend seems to have learnt the same manners as Fizwick as well. Tell us, we know very little of your abode, and we understand that there is a certain clandestine nature that you wish to observe while we are here. Are there any other rules that must be observed while we are staying in your pleasant company?"
Well, I suppose, it is a busy organization. The building's a bit more empty these days, these past, 10 days or so. So, there won't be too much hustle and bustle, but I will say just try to stay out of the way of the goings-on of our organization, if you know what I mean. But if Fizwick trusted you enough to bring you here, we have also heard good things of your deeds. The word has reached us of a very interesting adventuring party, we'll say. So we trust you well enough.
Well, your trust is very kind. If you would indulge, we have a couple of questions that you might be able to help us with. We are in search of a few bits of information surrounding the recent execution of a Thayan wizard, as well as the evidence of Durga, present company excluded, that were operating in the city.
Yes, well, I would be happy to answer your questions, but I'm afraid I do have some things to attend to upstairs, so it will have to wait until morning. Perhaps over breakfast, yes?
Sounds absolutely wonderful. I look forward to meeting you again, and I'll bow.
Very good, very good. Yes, it is most pleasant to make your acquaintances, and yes, please. You might want to wait outside, and Fizwick, when he's ready, can show you to the quarters. Or, actually, no, please, just have a seat here. And he points to a couple of, there's a couple cushions on the ground. They look fairly exotic, these are not things that are used in Icewind Dale.
Like there should be a hookah sitting next to them.
Exactly, that sort of thing, yes. And kind of motions, and then he kind of clunks away upstairs, marveling at his this little ring that he has managed to fit this gem into. Yes, yes, and he's kind of talking to himself a little bit as he clumps up the stairs.
Fizwick walks back in, and he can see he can see Nikos and Gruckvar, right?
Yeah, and what, Ryan? Why don't you finish saying what were you going to go outside the?
Yeah, so I would just sort of conclude Fizwick's question. It's been far too long since I've seen anything green and this alive, and it doesn't sit well with me right now. And then I think I will take up your offer of spending the night outside. And so yeah, I do just sort of slowly walk back through the illusion. And I find a spot close still to where that space is, but outside where it's cold and white. And I'm gonna try my best to pull my cloak and whatever I can around myself, and just sort of sit with my knees pulled up. The other thing is, when we first arrived in town, we heard that there was a group of adventurers that were sort of suckered into joining the
evil wizard.
former
Yep.
wizard. Would we understand that, or would we know who they were? Were they probably the adventurers that we had been introduced to earlier on, or is this a completely new party? Or
Yeah, I mean, you don't really know, but you don't get the impression from anything you've heard that
Okay.
It would be anyone you've known.
okay, yep. Then I'm gonna pull up and
Yeah, you managed to
Huddle.
find like a little like a doorstep up to a little door, and you're kind of it's basically just maybe 2 or 3 feet further in from the exterior of the building, where you can manage to shelter yourself from a little bit of the wind on that building at the end of the cul-de-sac there.
Make him do a survival check.
We'll get there.
you
But-
come back and you just find clay, like a brick of clay,
Claysicle.
for lack of a better description.
All right, Fizwick, you were heading back into the Darksea workshop, yes?
Yeah, just to join Nikos and Gruckvar.
Yep. All right, you enter and you see them perhaps seated on these cushions. I don't know, would you guys have sat down?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely sitting
yeah.
on this cushion.
Yeah, they feel nice.
They're mimics.
Well, he can bite my ass.
Fizwick, could you elaborate a bit on what is the nature of this organization you're involved with?
Well, you know, it's kind of like anything. I sell them some things, and I go look for things, and I just kind of come back and sell them more things. They're pretty lucrative when it comes to looking for different sources. They've got their fingers in lots of pockets, so it's not a coincidence that they put this here, you know, with illegal pickpocketing. So they find lots of different trinkets, and there's something downstairs that they don't let me go see, but that's about it, what I know.
They're putting your very particular set of skills to good use, then it seems.
Oh, it's not a bad place.
Is the garden outside, is that an illusion, or is that a real thing that's somehow being hidden and obscured away when needed by an illusion of snow? What's
It's
real, the
some kind
snow
of-
or the garden?
It's a machine, some kind of magic machine that Elias made.
Yeah, and Fizwick, you would know, like, you know, there are some there's like a little bowl on the table of cherry tomatoes, and there's actually, like, you see in this place some plants. Like, the warmth in this building is quite real, and you can I get the impression from these lights that they're almost like they feel like daylight. They look like daylight, and yeah. And Fizwick, you would probably know that, like, you know, these cherry tomatoes are here for guests. They often have various pieces of produce that are very rare or hard to find here. So yeah.
Fizwick wants to go in and grab up some of the tomatoes and put them in a bag.
Nikos, we may have stumbled upon a solution to our difficulty finding lemons earlier, if this is a place where you can grow actual produce.
Interesting. And we have an inside person, so we might be able to get a discount.
Don't try to steal one; the
Perhaps.
alarms will go off.
I like this. Very well. I'll bring it up at breakfast. For now, I think we should... Well, are we resting, or are we looking into this further? I mean, we were only trying to get accommodation, and it seems as though we have permission to do so.
Sounds like any information that we may get here has been relegated to breakfast.
Is it pretty
Or
late,
else-
Nate?
Yeah, it's getting quite late. It's probably 9 or 10 p.m.
Very well. Then let us rest for the night, and we shall convene in the morning.
Sounds good.
All right. So yeah, Fizwick, you would know that there's a door around the back that toward the back of the room here, and it leads down a pretty steep staircase, and down there is a very kind of Spartan hallway, and there are just kind of quarters on various both sides of the hallway really, that have very very simple beds. But comfortable enough accommodations and fairly warm, warmer than probably anything you guys have experienced in a long time. So as you find your beds for the night, I'm going to go ahead and have Clay make a survival check for me. Actually, let's do a constitution check for me, if you would. Just to see how comfortable Clay can get there.
16.
Okay, yeah, I mean it is quite cold. It's the coldest night you've spent in a long time, but you managed to get a little bit of sleep that night through the night, as you're kind of huddled.
I'm used to it.
Cloak wrapped around you and such. Yep. All right, and morning comes, and yeah, I guess how do you guys wake up? Do you wake yourselves up? Would there be one of you who might wake up first and wake the others?
Fizwick would have been up already, just toiling around somewhere, getting in trouble somewhere.
Okay.
You can kind of maybe hear him outside from time to time screaming at something and something banging and burning smells.
I was sleeping more soundly than I have in the past because it's not usually this warm.
Seconded.
Clay did get up and he wandered back into the green space, and he found a large stone to just sort of sit down on, and like most mornings or evenings, sharpen his axes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you hear like a bird chirping in a tree nearby, and it's definitely a different sort of place
He's
here.
very uncomfortable with the pleasantness of this place.
Yeah. All
Or I
right.
should say with him being in this pleasant place.
And you guys hear Elias calling up from the top of the stairs. Those of you who are in the quarters there. Come eat. It's time to be up.
You've never seen Fizwick run so fast.
Yeah, and you guys head up the stairs, I assume?
Yep, I joined the gathering around the table.
Yeah, and there is just a back room here off of the main shop area that has a table, and there is some kind of steaming hot bowls of porridge, and there are strawberries of all things on the table as well. Little tiny cups are seated out there. As you walk in, Elias is pouring little bits of juice into those cups, some kind of fruit juice, and it's very sweet tasting and delicious, but clearly it's not plentiful, just little bits that you get. He says,
Nikos will raise his hand and say, none for me, please. I'm fasting.
"Oh, all right, yes, no problem." Tomas the pug scampers by and says, morning all, and kind of scampers back into the shop area. And Elias says, please be seated. You said you had some questions for me, and I would be happy
yes.
to provide answers if possible.
Well, of course. Our first question, I suppose, lies with our true intention of coming to East Haven. We were recently further north, and we encountered a fortress built into the mountainside where several Durgar were working under the behest of a clan of, Durgar. The same clan, of course, that Gruckvar belonged to. We heard rumors that some of the higher ups of that particular clan have made their way into the area surrounding East Haven, and we have come in search of well, their presence and any of their activities. Thus far, there have been rumors and smatterings about invisible dwarves, but really, there's only so much one can substantiate from that. We were hoping that perhaps someone who is so well versed in the know of the street, you would have something maybe a little more actionable in your knowledge.
The name is Clan Sunblight, if you heard of him.
Yes, yes, I have. Now, mind you, I am only a minor master. The masters are all out. You see, well, I have to admit I have not heard much else of the Duergar. But you seem to know more than me, in fact, if I'm completely honest. But I am interested in learning more, and this Sunblight name sounds familiar. I may have some books somewhere on the topic. So I'll have to do a little more research on that. Sunblight.
Good sir, we do have, because of my personal connection, I've got plenty of knowledge on the kind of people they are. I've got a personal history, as it were, but my question is, do you know anything about their whereabouts specifically? We've heard some rumors of our own about where they might be in town, but it's just this. I'd like to make sure that we can get the jump on them before they get the jump on us, you see.
Yes, I understand. And unfortunately, I simply don't have any more information than you do on the presence of Duergar.
I understand. Do you know anything about this wizard that was recently executed?
Oh, yes. That I can tell you a little more about. You see, the Darksea Workshop, Fizwick may have told you, is a bit of a front for the Owlbear Society. A collection of, well, adventurers and collectors of sorts who have an interest in preserving relics as well as making a buck off of some treasure, we'll say. It's a fine line often, and the Council of Masters must decide what is worth selling and what is worth preserving and keeping. But tough decisions must be made along that front all the time. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details, but the Masters and almost all the members of the Owlbear Society have gone to investigate some organization called the Arcane Brotherhood. Members have been sent to all of the 10 towns to do a little research on that front, and they are set to report back here in a 10-day with what they have found. But it is concerning, and we have a feeling that this Red Wizard may be connected to this Arcane Brotherhood.
Well, your suspicions will be correct. We managed to procure some of the writings of the Thayan. I present the letters that we'd been looking over, and I say, as a Thayan myself, reading this is fairly simple, and I read the passage that connects to the Arcane Brotherhood.
A Thayan yourself? My goodness, fascinating. And he kind of looks it over, and he's kind of looking over your shoulder a little bit, like, yes, well, okay.
I cover my hood so he doesn't. I was gonna say I cover my hood a little bit so he doesn't see the tattoos, because you can be Thayan without being a wizard. So I'm happy to tell people I'm Thayan. Just hide the wizardy thing a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And well, thank you for confirming our suspicions on that. I will make a note of this for the Masters when they return. So, yes, it seems there is a foul presence afoot in two ways. The Duergar and this Arcane Brotherhood. Now, the Duergar, I have to imagine, are only emboldened because of the darkness we find ourselves in, and it concerns me deeply. What else might creep up from the Underdark now that the surface is as dark as it, if you catch my drift?
I do. I can walk around freely without squinting my eyes these days.
Yes. Well, that's...
Perhaps, maybe you could tell us where these masters have gone to ascertain the information they seek. Maybe there is some sort of mutual partnership we could do in regards to maybe helping with this investigation. And with the Arcane Brotherhood taken care of, some resources might perhaps be usable to deal with the Duergar before they become too much of an issue.
Yes, well, I suppose we have our eyes out for the Duergar as well, but unfortunately they seem to be a more elusive threat. The whole invisibility thing, I suppose. But
Yes.
we would
Yes.
certainly be willing to find ways in which our interests align. You keep your eyes open for any news of the Arcane Brotherhood, and we will keep our eyes open for Duergar.
Fizwick is pounding his face with strawberries. It's just everywhere. And you can hear him say he looks at Nikos and says something about owlbears, babies. You can't make it out though.
He mentioned that the Owlbear Society's members are all currently on this quest to find information, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'll nod at Fizwick and sort of give him a knowing wink. Like, I know what he's getting at. Like, we need to sell those 2 owlbear babies, but until the others get back, we can't really sell them to anyone. So,
Do you have any idea of where we might start looking for information on this brotherhood?
Well, I'll have a much better idea in about a 10-day, but when the masters return. But no, right now it's just information gathering. We have explored various locations. We believe they are after perhaps great treasure that is buried under the ice. Remains of some kind of ancient civilization, perhaps, are the rumors.
I have
Glances around.
I have a few ideas of how we can investigate this.
Well, good.
Well, I'm sure that the 3 of you will enjoy your breakfast. I will prepare for our journey, and I will go back to my room to gather up all the adventuring supplies we'll need for travel. What I also want to do is I kind of want to see if I can find out if there are any clerics or churches to Jergal that happen to be around the place.
I don't know much about. Is it Chogal? Or
Jergal, God of the Dead.
Jergal. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I suppose. Yep, there we go. Yeah, you know, I imagine you could at least find a small chapel of sorts.
Right. The current plan, which I will let the others know as well once I've gathered all the stuff, is if we can find what happened to the Thayan, to his body, because burning a body doesn't get rid of every bit and piece, right? The skull, for example, may still relatively be intact and be buried somewhere. Because it's so fresh, we might actually be able to ask directly, with the aid of the Church of Jergal, any information about the Red Wizard and the Arcane Brotherhood.
Yeah. Okay.
Via like a speak with the dead spell?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, good to know. Yeah, I imagine you could find something like that around town. Any other questions you guys have for Elias?
Fizwick just wants to see if he can unload some of his stuff, his silver bracelet, and he's got like a red gem he got a long time ago.
Actually, Clay would like to do the same thing.
Yeah, so whatever you guys have that you know, you think would be of interest to Elias, some kind of, you know, any curiosities or gems or jewelry would definitely be something that he could buy off of you. And yeah, if you have like the value, you know, usually the way it works is you sell stuff for half price. But you know, he probably has a little more generosity, a bit more on his good side than the average person coming to sell stuff.
Would he be interested in like gemstones for other reasons than monetary reasons? Like, would he be willing to make an even trade for a gemstone if he could use it for tinkering or whatever?
I mean, probably like he would, you know, he would fit it into something maybe, or just sell it as is, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So he's probably not going
So
to
I've
pay
got
full price for it, is what I'm
'Cause
saying.
I've got a gemstone worth 50 gold
Yeah.
that I would like to actually turn into actual coin.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess when they say a gemstone worth 50 gold, to me it makes sense. Like, let's just do that straight up. Yep.
Okay.
And Fizwick, I can't remember how much I told you. Did I say like 20 gold worth of stuff that you found in that apartment?
I got 2 gold one time, and then I got 20 gold. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that one, and
So,
then
yeah,
a silver bracelet.
You can manage to sell all that stuff to him for 20 gold then. And then the silver bracelet, probably, you know, another 2 gold, we'll say.
Okay. And I don't know. Learned to take my notes. I'm sorry. I remember a long time ago I pickpocketed that dragon board, and he had like an idol or something on it.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah. There was a small little owl statuette with empty eye sockets. Yeah,
Fizwick just kind of pulls that out, and you just see him pull it out of his like back of his shoulder, and he holds it up to Elias, and you know, just kind of has a look on his face if it's anything maybe.
yeah. Elias takes it and he says, "Ah, magnificent! I've seen things like this before. With the right gemstones, this little critter would become real, come
It's
to
like-
life."
Gets behind his ear, and he hands him a red, whatever you gave us that one time. I think it was a red ruby, or I got a ruby. He hands him that as well.
Yeah, he takes the ruby and he's like trying to. No, I don't think this is it. It will have
Mr.
to be.
Moondiver, pardon me for asking. You said the creature would come to life. Do you mean that in a poetic sense, or it really would dance about, or what are you saying exactly, sir?
Setting it down and reciting an incantation, it would actually poof into a real owl.
Fizwick jumps up immediately and grabs it back, and he just looks at it like it's the best thing that he's ever gotten.
Yes, I've seen similar things. I could be wrong on the nature of this statuette, but you'll want to keep your eyes open for sapphires. And, well, the only one I have is far too big for the task. But, yes, sapphires, and they'll have to be cut in a particular manner and receive some enchantment. But it is doable.
Well, Fizwick asked if
Miss Elias, can you hold it for me in the meantime?
Yes, I would be happy to keep this safe for you.
he gives
And-
Elias that and 50 gold, just because. Yeah.
Okay. Well, oh, thank you. My.
No, it's not for you. You get to hold on to it for me.
Oh, right. All right.
I told you guys, you have to be specific.
In your safe deposit box of sorts, yes, of course. And he, takes it and, puts it in a bag, and you see him kind of scribing a little note that he ties around the bag with.
I'm
Fizwick
suddenly very
written
curious
on
to know what all is currently in Fizwick's safe deposit box at Darksea Workshop. Being kept instead, like how big is it? It's like a bank safe or what?
Yeah.
He's like a billionaire.
Yeah.
He's like an
You saw how
eccentric
quickly he
billionaire.
gave the guy 50 GP. He's not worried about that. You don't know
Secretly
what's
very,
he's
very
got in
humble.
storage here.
Nate, I also would like to unload this war pick that I got from somewhere. I don't remember where. I looked it up and it's worth 5 gold pieces. So would that
Yeah.
be like 2 gold pieces that I would get first selling it to him.
Yeah, we'll say 3, and yeah,
You
he
even want
normally
it?
would not be interested in a weapon, but he takes it. And is this a Dwargar weapon?
I think so. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's where I got it from.
Yeah, so I think he would be interested in that just because of the almost exotic nature, even though it's very plain. It's oh, this is very interesting. Yes, I will certainly. And he slides 3 gold coins to you. Says yes, this will be of interest to the masters perhaps as well. Thank you. So Nikos has left and gone to kind of pack up and make preparations. I'll remind you guys that you also heard that one of the Dwargar was holed up at near the ferry dock. That was one of the notes you found in Nildar Sunblight's abode, and you also were interested in finding a chapel of Jergal. So, what would you like to do first here, or anything else?
I'm prepared to meet up with my brethren today if the rest of you are ready to accompany me. Or we can see if this dead wizard can be pried loose, some information from him. What does everyone else in the party think?
If we're going to get some information from the wizard, does he? Time is of the essence, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Then I say we maybe do that first.
And let's commence.
All right. So you guys want to go try to recover the bones of the Red Wizard?
Yeah.
That's the goal.
But we'll start with we'll start by heading to the church first, because they'll likely know where it's been buried.
Okay. Yeah.
Is before we leave, I'm gonna thank, what was his name?
Elias.
I'm gonna thank Elias for the hospitality and just say this truly is a wonderful place amidst so much desolation.
Yes. Yes, it is. And I try to keep it, well, a bit of respite, I suppose, for the weary. We have very difficult work to do, and it is very dangerous. So to have a place like this, it takes some doing, but we find it worth it. Please come back sometime.
Thank
And-
you, Mr. Moondiver.
And you see Tomas kind of run out too and say, "All right then, off on another adventure, are you?" And he kind of stretches his back, and you hear a little wags his little pug tail. Says, "Wish I could join you. There was a time when I was human, but those days are long since past."
Thank you, Master Elias. And Fizwick kind of does like a perfect, like very graceful bow. And then, goodbye, Tomas.
Goodbye, Fizwick. Travel well.
Good luck with the hairball problem.
Asshole.
That's about right.
You guys head out the doors and back out into the cold environment of Icewind Dale. Why don't you guys go ahead and make an investigation check, if you would, just to maybe see how well you can find a chapel of Jergal.
15.
I got a 13. I don't even know what that is, so
20.
17.
Yeah, so without too much asking around, you guys managed to find the chapel, and within, it's a very small building, but let's just see here. Sorry. Within, you guys see immediately, like placed on a table, there is a skull on a table, and there's sort of a scroll that is coming out of the skull's mouth and onto the table, and it's like actually like a guest book basically. And I imagine Nikos might have some knowledge of this, and kind of signing in, just saying that you have visited the temple or the chapel here. And yeah, there's actually a quill sort of coming out of the top of the skull. Then there's a wall on the other side of the table, and you can go either way around the wall. And there's a small sort of chapel environment, some rows of benches and such. And you see a cleric who is talking to a tiefling near the other end of the chapel. They finish up their conversation, and the tiefling walks out the door and kind of gives you all a nod as she walks out.
Can Fizwick pickpocket her as she's going by?
Absolutely try. Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
21.
Let's just see here. Yeah, you get your hand in her pocket, but there's really not much there. A little bit of lint is all you find. But she doesn't seem to notice as she brushes by and walks out the door.
Nikos will approach the sign-in book and without hesitation take the quill. I'm just, maybe it's just me, I'm imagining the quill's like a finger bone or something, or something macabre, and we'll dip it
entire
into the
femur.
brain, and then and then just write his name. I'll also write Fizwick's name because Nikos assumes Fizwick can't read or write.
Yeah.
And we'll then hand it over to Gruckvar.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I signed my name there as well. I'm wondering, is Fizwick insulted by that at all? I mean, what Nikos did, I think, was the right way to go, but I'm imagining like...
He wouldn't be smart enough to notice, really.
Okay, because I don't know, he might
can
be...
read and write, right? Because if his it's 8, right? But yeah, he's not smart enough to... It's gone over him.
Okay. I passed the pin on down
He
to
might have
Clay.
even been thankful for it.
And you know what? Nikos has always been friendly, so...
Yeah, you give some treats.
Fizwick
I'm
is
just
like the kid in
imagining
school.
like a character like Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, how like he does, if you mention he can't read or write, he's kind of irritated. It's like he pretends like he can. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Sorry. Clay, here's the pen.
Clay looks at the pen and just puts it back.
Okay. Yep. And the cleric comes forward, and the cleric is a human, dark hair, neatly trimmed beard, and walks forward and says, "Welcome, welcome. What is it I can do for you today?"
Blessings be. We are in search of some information regarding some associates for the wizard who was laid to rest earlier this week.
Yes, please, be seated. And he sits down on one of the benches near the front.
I will sit across from this individual. You see, this man was a wizard, we suspect, of Thay. And there are, of course, many dangers regarding necromancy, especially from said wizards of Thay. We are traveling adventurers ourselves and seek to ensure the peace and prosperity of many cities in Icewind Dale, and would hazard to imagine what kind of devastation a wizard of this great power and magnitude, intelligence and wit and guile, as nurtured by the very bosom of one of the most successful and economically sound kingdoms on any... You can see he's just sort of prattling on as he's just talking up Thay. Yes, I'm sorry. We want to just make sure that, of course, any machinations that the wizard may have had are buried along with their person.
Yes, interesting. Well, The grave is not too far from here, the mass grave where they throw various bodies, cover them up about once every 10 days or so. Shouldn't be too far. And he kind of
Well,
said,
we were hoping we may be able to commission yourself to be able to perform the rites.
ah, well, we do perform such duties, yes. The rites could be performed as early as this evening, if you desire. I will have to call for one of my associates to assist.
That is most agreeable. Thank you for your time. If you could simply tell us where to retrieve the remains, we will do it and return this evening.
Yes, and you did sign the ledger, yes?
Yes.
Want to make sure I have your names. We don't just give away bones to anybody.
Of course.
All right. Well, the remains are right here, and he kind of points to a spot on the map about, 2 blocks away, or probably we just motion, you'll pass this and go that way. And
Yep.
And he says, you can meet me here about sundown, about 7 o'clock. And that should do quite fine. That's about 8 hours from now. And we will perform the rites. Bring your pouch. It is not an overly expensive procedure, but there is a cost associated with it.
Well, thank you kindly once again. We shall see you this even, son, with, of course, the remains in tow. I stand up and I will bow. I will then kind of wait for the priest to stand up before I turn to leave.
Mm-hmm. The blessing of Jergal be upon you. I don't know if that's a thing they would say, like, this is a death god.
Yes. It's basically if you die well is the
There you go.
is the modiker.
Yep.
Not a we hope you die so that our god can embrace you.
Right.
You
Although
don't
I
want to
will-
hear them say, we see you soon.
Yeah, we'll see you real soon. Now, on our way out, I will tell Clay. I noticed you didn't sign your name in the ledger. You are very brave, braver than I gave you credit for. It is not every day one spits in the face of a death god. And I'll just keep walking.
Okay.
Clay is not. Clay is not.
That was
All
the
that
best play
bothered
line
by
ever.
He'll take.
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
comes.
Oh,
Sorry, what
yeah,
play?
yeah. So just to clarify, because I feel 100% that I have very outdated information about the realms, but the realms is the setting in which there are obviously the deities are a tangible force or entity within this space. The process of death is that when one dies, one gets given into the embrace of whichever god they happen to follow devotion to. Anyone who doesn't have a god that they worship, or anyone who has otherwise made enemies of a god, can be cast into what is known as, I want to say it's like the wall, or the wall of souls or something, and it's like a eternal screaming limbo. So like atheists, for example, is like in the realms not a very common thing because the wall is known. It's a visitable, it's a physical, actual place. Is that correct, or am I making stuff up?
That sounds good to me. I have no idea.
Good, done. Huzzah!
It's canon.
It's canon now. That's it. So yeah,
I like that.
yeah. So yeah, not writing in the book for the god of death is kind of, at least in Nikos's mind, a very brave thing. Like, not an actual like, oh, that's really stupid. What's wrong with you? It's like, actually, kudos. That's pretty ballsy. I certainly wouldn't want my soul cast into the wall of souls based on my belief and outlook. But if you're willing to take that chance, yay. And
Fizwick
Good on you.
tugs on his arm and says,
What's the wall of souls?
I will tell you at bedtime.
Sounds like a really good bedtime story.
Yes. Once upon a time, someone blasphemed.
That must have been really boring to be the first one to go to the Wall of Souls.
Well, I think it was the stump of souls at that point.
You're just like ahead there, doing nothing.
All right, so you guys managed to find the bones without too much trouble here. There's, someone who's kind of, a grave digger of sorts who's out there and just kind of putzing around the grounds of this this graveyard. For the most part, the bodies are not buried very deep at all here because the ground is pretty frozen solid. So you managed to find the bones, and you now have about 10 hours. I said 8 hours. So yeah, probably now another 7 hours or so before the rites will be performed. Is there anything you'd like to do in the meantime? I guess we could just maybe, you guys can say what you would like to do. And if that's head to the docks, if that's do a little shopping, whatever it is. And then that will help me plan for next time.
Is there anywhere I can get my blade coated in silver here?
There probably would be, yeah. Let me make a note of that, and I'll just kind of tell you how
Are you
that goes
expecting
and how
werewolf?
much that will cost.
Well, you never know.
Yep.
Our base is covered, and I don't think any of us have any silver, so.
Yep.
I was gonna say, Nikos will actually follow Gruckvar, because I know that Gruckvar obviously wants to look for evidence of the other sunblighters and the like. So while we're waiting, there's no point in me digging up remains and walking around with them. So I'll wait till a bit closer to go after that bit, but I'll follow Gruckvar until then.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to do in town, Nikos? Did you have any other things you need to attend to, or not really?
No. Just as long as we're back
Okay.
this evening for
Okay.
for the ritual and the skull. I mean, beyond that, so investigation-wise, Nikos will bring up that we could potentially search this guy's house. We could potentially find out like what he was doing in town, like who he was associated with, and what they can tell us to build like a profile about this individual. But that being said, this is still an ancillary quest to the finding the Duragar. So Nikos will say, while we can do that, I still think our time is best served focusing on trying to find your kin that might be lurking nearby.
I think that's
Okay.
a good idea, but knowing that the sunblights could be invisible, they could be watching us as we speak.
Nikos stabs
wonder-
the air.
It seems perhaps best that when we head to the docks, that be the time that we perhaps confront them. If we head out there for a recon mission and then turn around, we're just simply giving them a heads up as to what we're doing. So perhaps we should go there quietly, surreptitiously as a group when the time arrives, but make it a direct mission, if you know what I mean.
Sure. That's what you're saying.
So rather than just kind
it-
of like swinging by.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is the morning, so we can make the day of this. You know what I mean? Like, if it takes us longer than the full day to sort this out, I feel like it was well and truly beyond our means. Like, I may be a spellcaster, but my powers have their limits. And a day-long siege against the Duragar is not something I envision as a very viable fight.
in that case, let's head over there together and see what we will.
All right, so you guys head off in the direction of the ferry dock, and as you do so, the snow begins to fall, quite heavy here on East Haven, and heavier than normal. Visibility is reduced, and as it kind of whips in between the buildings here, the residents of East Haven shuffle a little more quickly from building to building through the streets here, and that is where we will end this session. Thank you guys so much. That was awesome. A lot of yeah. I mean, this session was a lot of improv on my part because I just never know what you guys are going to do in town and what you're going to latch onto. And I'm glad you latched onto some fun things. It was really cool. So thank you.
Thank
That was
you.
awesome.
That was awesome, and I'm so invested in this whole Thayan story, and as much as I am, like as a player, I'm like, oh man, I want to just do this Red Wizard stuff. I definitely know that there are definitely times where you as a player want to take some time to enjoy the other characters' backstories and stuff. And I know that Gruckvar is on that trail with the Duragar and stuff, and I'm keen on that. And I want to know more about Fizwick when we get to see all the masters of like the Owlbear Society and all that. And obviously we got this new information about Clay and his interaction with the non-icy areas, which is very, very cool and very interesting. And I want to definitely know more about that. So we like lots of little character stuff was like unveiled,
Yeah.
very subtly throughout today. So that was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Well, thank you also to all of you in the chat hanging out with us and chatting it up. Great to have you all watching, and thanks so much for joining us. Give another shout out to our sponsor for the stream here, Hero Forge. Check them out. Hero Forge is an awesome tool for creating your own characters exactly as you envision. So many cool options and just really kind of a fun toy to play around with. Even if you never end up ordering a miniature, definitely check it out. And yeah. Check out Dead Aussie Gamer and links to as well to the Dark Sea Workshop down in the video description. Alex, Michael, Will, Ryan, thank you guys for being awesome players. And you guys can see us again in about 2 weeks. Exactly 2 weeks, actually.
Exactly.
And this
2
time I'll
weeks,
try to get...
minus a few hours.
Yeah, and I'll try to get the time right on the video this time so that people actually know when it's going to happen. So, yeah. All right. Take care, everybody. And let me get the stop button ready first so that we don't have that awkward this thing that's happening right now. Okay. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
There we go. Only slightly awkward.